is there a way I can make a believable scenario where I bring a bunch of paying customers into a theater, perform what looks like a musical, and in the long run get away with what's really just been a very elaborate heist?
Oh, what's the heist?
I mean, hey, this is up to us now. Maybe it's a whole musical that is just like it sounds like a robbery, but like they're singing a song while they're robbing people, so everyone thinks, oh, this is just like Rocky Horror
Oh.
Picture. It's just interactive.
Where they get in the crowd and steal your wallet. Yeah, this or it could be that they were paying customers at the door and that they charged like $30 a head to get people in, and then they showed them like song and dance and acting, and people had a good time, and they were none the wiser by the time they left, thinking that it was an actual musical when it wasn't.
They didn't even know what they exactly paid for. Yeah, this guy.
They'll leave and being like, that was a musical, and the thing is, it wasn't.
It wasn't a musical, but it was pretty musical.
It resembled a musical.
That's the tricky bit.
Nobody, yeah.
Was it? Yeah, you didn't pay for a musical. You paid for something musical, but you also paid the price.
And that's the heist on its own.
And the price, the price is also something musical, but not a musical. And you're gonna pay the price.
It's not that it's a musical. It's not a musical. It is musical.
Yeah.
It wasn't a musical, and for that reason, you've been fooled.
And for that reason, I'm out. And Mark Cuban sits down.
And he hits the big red button, and then a bunch of, golden glitter falls from the ceiling, and you don't pay $30. So the heist right now, as I say, with your hands in your face, regretting us ever starting this podcast, is that...
Will, would you, let's say, all right, they're just saying essentially getting customers, paying customers into a theater, and in the long run, convincing them that they've seen a show, really pulling off an elaborate heist.
Yeah.
Think Ben Stiller Tower heist.
Exactly. I was actually thinking more like you get them in sort of propaganda style. You tell them they're going to have a good time. It's going to be like pro whatever you stand for, and then they come in, and then it's like, oh my gosh, there are all these people in this audience. I have a platform to say whatever I want. It's like that sort of heist. So, Zane, if you knew you had a listening audience of, let's say, 500 people who thought that they were going to come to some sort of musical event, what would you actually perform for them?
Seppuku.
I can't. Okay, so you would commit seppuku as your act of, is this rebellion?
That's just for me. That's a personal one-man show. But if I'm... you asked me personally, but if I was in the heist game, that would be a whole different story, cuz...
How would you make money off of seppuku? Is it a fake? Is it a blade?
I'm not in it for the money.
Oh, I mean... What kind of heist isn't in for the money?
Hey, you didn't
That's
say
the only flaw in this plan.
You did not say that this was a heist scenario for me. You just said if I had people and my own audience, what would I do for them? Of course I'd do seppuku. What would you do, huh?
You're right. I kind of meant what message do you want to send? And that message is seppuku. Okay.
What less weird thing could you think of doing? All right. In a heist scenario, the easy answer here is literally something like Rocky Horror, where you just physically get them audience participation, get them throwing money up, make them think it's part of the musical.
Do they do that at Rocky Horror? They throw money up?
I don't know if there's money in Rocky Horror, but
I don't think it's money. I thought it was like spoons or something.
That's the room. I just saw the room in
theaters.
Oh,
no.
It's fantastic. Basically, a lot of heavy audience participation. You can get away with whatever you want. You can make them give them your money. You can make one person give you the keys to their car outside, and then as soon as they give you the keys, ask what kind of car it is. And if they say it's a 1997 Camry, shove those keys back in their face. Find someone with a decent car, please.
Yeah. So something I thought of, Zane, is that your crowd has to be pretty rowdy in order to like get to the point where they're throwing money up on stage. So I think you hire like an opener to get them like kind of warmed up, like how bands and comedians have like warm ups and starters to get them, the whole situation lubed up. I think that's the only way you get people throwing dollars or whatever cash they might have in their wallets onto the stage for you. But it could work I think you start off and you say, whoa, let's make a rain of pennies. It'll sound like a rain, actual rain, except not with pennies. But we'll do it with our pennies. And after they get rid of all their pennies, they're like, you know what, while we're at it, let's do nickels. And you work your way up until you're asking people to throw their credit cards onto the stage for you. And it's like, hey, anybody got their social security numbers? You can just write that down and throw it on stage. And I think that if you work up, you might get it, is what I'm saying.
Right, leniency. They'll start to think it's the norm.
Yeah, like boiling a frog.
Also, the best, yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. How did you
exactly
know?
Like boiling a frog.
Now the thing about.
Do you not know that analogy?
Let's say I don't.
Let's pretend I don't. The idea for for the audience members is that if you put a frog in lukewarm water, he won't freak out. But the moment you start cooking it, as long as it warms up slowly, he'll just sit in there and die, because as long as it keeps on warming up slowly, then they'll just eventually die from being cooked alive, and they won't even try to jump out. That's the idea.
I knew that. There you go, question asker. All you need is an audience of dying frogs, and you're good to go.
All you need is a bunch of cold-blooded amphibians that you can throw in large vats of water and slowly heat up so that they don't seem alarmed. Yeah.
Yes. So in other words, don't rent out a theater, rent out a hot tub.
Yeah. Or a pool that you can put a fire under. If you label it as hot tub, they might be clued in.
Right. It's gotta be a nice, big room temp pool.
Yeah, if they're standing in line and they see, a poster on the wall that says industrial sized, boiling pot, they might not be interested in buying the tickets. But if they see, 1 day free spa for frogs only, they might get in line, is what I'm saying.
If they look at the runtime of the show and they say 40 to 55 minutes at 375 degrees, they're gonna start. They're gonna start to question.
But if it just says spa for frogs, then you're probably in luck. Yeah, I think that's good. Hey, do you want me to give you a question?
Please.
Okay, I'll do that.